up, G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Now, before we do anything and start off, I just want to say, to everything going on in the world right now, it is pandemonium. You got to deal with Corona Beam, and now everything happening with social inequality and social injustice. And I'll be honest, I didn't know whether or not I wanted to do the podcast, but I thought about it, and, to get your head out of certain places, you go to do things, you put your head into things you love. And I love Godzilla, and I love talking Godzilla, and I love talking Godzilla with my brother Chase. So I was like, you know what? We are going to do the podcast. Just to get out of that situation for a bit, just to get away from reality for a bit, and, just try to have a good time within the confines of this 1 hour space here. So, that being said, to everybody out there, listening to this podcast, if you're, affected by this or not, listen, my heart goes out with y'all. And I'm not trying to be political or nothing like that. I'm just, I just want y'all to know that, voices need to be heard too. And so, let's keep on keeping on. But that being said, let me introduce you to my co-host. You already know who's on. Let me introduce you to my co-host, my cohort, my right hand when it comes to Godzilla on the G Show, Megzy, a.k.a. G73, a.k.a. my brother Chase. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Just hanging in there, staying where it's safe.
Staying where it's safe. Indeed, indeed. Now, one other thing, I just want everybody to know, last week we did record a podcast, okay? We did a podcast last week. I went to upload it like normal, and unlike normal, YouTube wasn't letting me upload it for whatever reasons. I tried 3 times. The second time it was processing for about 3 hours. Nothing worked. I shut it down. I tried to do it again, and it just crapped out on me again. So, yeah, that podcast is lost to the ether. Not really, it's on the computer, but I don't know why, and I hope that this podcast gets up. Because if this one don't, then, brother, we might have a problem.
Yeah, better check your emails, make sure you're not copyright strike.
Yeah, exactly, right? But, even though that podcast didn't get put up, there really wasn't no news coming out. But this week, in 24 hours, I would say, we've got news. We've got a rating for Godzilla vs. Kong. And to no one's surprise, it is rated what, Chase?
G.
For Godzilla. Or graphic violence.
PG13.
PG13. I mean, honestly, who didn't see that coming? All the other movies in the Monsterverse are rated PG-13. Any American Godzilla that came out prior has been rated PG-13. There's only been one. I think Godzilla 2000. No, I think that was PG. But yeah, who didn't see that coming?
Pretty much every Godzilla movie has been rated G or PG-13, or rated G or PG.
And some of them Japanese ones, they're hardcore. I mean, you think about some of them Showa ones. Jesus, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the first one, the very first one. That's a bloodfest, bro. That's rated G? Come on, man. That's a bloodfest.
Godzilla versus a smog monster, too.
Oh, my God. If that's not, one of the most hardcore graphic
Godzilla films.
Right. Seriously, just in visuals alone, look, 1954 is a scary movie when you look at it and you watch it and you think about it in the context of everything. And Godzilla's no joke in that movie, not played for laughs at all. That movie is a serious, serious movie. Whereas with Hedorah, at this point in time, Godzilla's a superhero. But we've never seen Godzilla get put through the ringer the way he does in Hedorah, right? He gets his ass whipped.
And then all those people disintegrate into bone.
And then that. So, not only are you seeing your favorite freaking hero getting his ass whipped, but then you're also in a horror movie where people are just literally disintegrating before your eyes. And then don't even start with the psychedelic fish heads. Because I was a kid. I'm not on no drugs. What the hell's going on in my Godzilla movie? But that's rated G. Oh, my God. But, okay, so PG-13. Again, who didn't see this coming? I mean, it was a given, but I have seen this, and the reason why I don't think that's the news, as opposed to what I'm about to say, is because it's just the rating. It's PG-13. If anybody thought this movie was going to be rated R, G.I. Joe, you're out of your minds. You're out of your minds. But the rumor going around, and so this is where I think is the more news. The rumor going around is because they released a rating, that must mean a trailer is right around the corner. So do you believe, brother G73, that there is a GVK trailer imminent?
No, because it's not an MPA rating on a trailer. It's an MPA rating on a movie, not a trailer. You know, I've been thinking about this, and part of me is like, you know, it is a convenient time for a trailer to come out, or about to be. But part of me is also like, that doesn't... it's not that I don't think a trailer is coming out. I just don't think the MPA rating is what that means. Like I said, there's no trailer cited. I mean, and the thing is if a trailer is going to come out, it might as well be for the San Diego Comic-Con thing. If a trailer heads out, I think that's where we're all speculating. I wouldn't expect anything now. You know, so I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm indecisive because sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, no, that doesn't mean a trailer's coming out. But then some part of me is like, well, maybe a trailer is coming out, but it is going to be in a month. That could be, but an MPA rating, I don't think. I think the reason why they're gonna, I think they're gonna use the month to wait because, unfortunately, over the past couple of weeks, a big spike in the coronavirus
Corona beam has happened.
Yep, it has skyrocketed since Memorial Day and stuff, and I don't really know the exact numbers, but it's pretty high again, and I think with everything going on, movie theaters are also going to have to wait and see what's going on, because, like I said, if as we mentioned last week,
in the podcast that didn't happen, but it did.
Yeah, the podcast didn't happen. If the coronavirus spikes up and the movie theaters can't open, how are they going to market the movie? You know, and we don't know what it's going to be like come August or anything. So, you know, I still feel like, in all honesty, I still feel like the movie's not going to be coming out this year. I still feel that way. But I don't know, because to me it's all weird that, you know, it got an MPA rating. So that means someone has seen the movie. So those test screenings that were done obviously were legitimate. It's just, I just don't know what that necessarily exactly means. So I'm always 50-50 on it, though. But I still say I don't think the film's coming out this year. I think that, I mean, unless the coronavirus is completely stable, with all these protests and everything going on right now, in the next couple of weeks, by the end of the month, then maybe there's still that chance. But I think that's fair given the time. Like, if we were going to get a trailer, it would come out at Comic-Con anyways. Right. But I that's where I stand on it. I guess that's, you know, we'll just see. You know, at this point, I'm not too sure, but I don't think it means anything relating to a trailer or anything at all.
Gotcha. To reiterate, folks, what we were talking about last week on the podcast that wasn't uploaded, who didn't want to be uploaded, whatever the case may be, we were talking about, will GVK actually come out this year or get postponed till next year, or just not come out in theaters? And the reason why we were talking about that, there was an article I read. There was several different things, but there was an article that I read, and it was focusing on Warner Brothers, and they were going through all of course, their tentpole movies like Tenet, Wonder Woman. They were talking about Mulan, actually. It was a slate of movies coming out this year. And there were movies I've never even heard of. But there was not one mention of GVK, and that frightened me. I was like, oh boy, we're having this conversation here, and one of the, you got two of the biggest icons of all time from screen, like legit, the Giants, and there's no mention of it. So that was like kind of the gist of the podcast last week. This week, just yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, I saw something that kind of raised my eyebrows well, before I get into that, I just want to say I was talking also to one of my homeboys back east, who I went to film school with and hung out with more than a couple times. Great kid, great guy. And I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think? Do you think Tenet is going to save cinema? And his reply to me straight up was, cinema is fucked. And I was like, whoa. Now, this is a dude who loves going to the movies, who loves, like, this is a movie guy. It's not like us and we're, like, heavily into Godzilla and stuff. This is a movie guy. Like, he goes to the movies to see anything, right? Like, that's his thing. And, coming from him, I kind of like, all right, yeah, all right. To him, nothing is going to be the same after Corona being, goes away. We're done. That's what his feelings are. Now, that was Friday of last week. This was after I did the pod, after we recorded the podcast that didn't make it. Yesterday, I saw something that raised my eyebrows, and I was like, oh boy. AMC, arguably the largest movie theater chain in the world, or in the States at least, okay, was saying that they don't know if they're going to recover. Now, if that is the case for AMC, then what hope does something like my favorite movie theater chain, Cinemark, what hope does that have? I know Regal is probably the second biggest that I know of. What hope does Regal have? The UA theaters back home. What hope? What about the little theaters? Like one of my favorite theaters back home in Brooklyn was Cobble Hill. Cobble Hill Theaters. I used to go there all the time. I saw G98 there. I love that theater. What hope does Cobble Hill Theater have? That's not like a license. That's just a theater, a regular theater that's been there forever. We had several of them. One of my favorites shut down a long time ago, the Fort Way. But what does that say? Like, if AMC is saying we might never be the same again in terms of we don't know if we're going to be able to do this anymore. That kind of reinforces the idea that not only GVK, but all of these movies are boned, Like, we might right now be moving into, entertainment-wise, the VOD era. It just might have to be this way. Because people come out for movies, right? You got your big movies, right? They're going to come out. The Marvel movies, your Star Wars movies. People come out, even though the last two, just three maybe. But they come out for them, right? People who come out for the spectacle, which is a giant monster movie, they have. That, opening weekend. I mean, unfortunately for King of the Monsters, they came out like day one and day two, and then it was a drop off the cliff. They say, oh, we saw it, we're done. There was no legs to the movie. But people come out to these movies, and some of them have legs. The superhero genre, for instance, those movies will make $500+ million in their box office run. Hell, I'll even go to say as far as 700+ at minimum up. But 500, I think it's fair enough. It's right in the middle. What happens now when people don't go to the theaters? People get comfortable just staying home. People get comfortable renting things like, the Trolls movie or Scoob or whatever else movie comes out on VOD right now, People just get comfortable, say, yo, $20, let's put it on a Friday night because we ain't doing nothing, and then just watch it, And like Chase said, there's a spike going up. And that's just from Memorial Day. And now that's not the case throughout the entire United States. But there's a spike in significant areas. Now with everything that's going on with protesting, in a week or two, will we see another spike? Now that's going on pretty much nationwide. Will we see spikes because of that? And if so, will that now force movie theaters to seriously be like, all right, we're still not opening? Look, I live in Vegas. The casinos are open right now. They're opened up. Movie theaters are opened up, but nothing is playing. And that's the crazy thing. Like, I went on Fandango, nothing. I went on Cinemark, theaters are still closed. Nothing is happening because there's nothing ready to rock and roll. Drive-in theaters are rocking and rolling, but they're playing like old movies. I've seen Goonies. I've seen Ghostbusters. I've seen Gremlins. Notice all three of those movies start with a G because it's the Godzilla Black Party. But, you know, they're playing these old classics, but not every state has a drive-in that you could just go to, you know? So it begs the question, will Godzilla vs. Kong come out in theaters? At this point in time, I'm going to be honest with you, Brother Chase, and all you guys out there, I don't even care if it comes out in theaters. I just want it. Just show it to me. Just put it out. Like, let's not even play games anymore. Because, and here's the brutal, honest truth, in my opinion. This movie wasn't going to make the type of money that they wanted to make anyway. And now that we're in this situation, it ain't going to make a fraction of what it probably would have made, which would have still been a fraction of what I'm pretty sure the execs wanted it to make. And that's an unfortunate truth that we all have to come to terms with, only because of the situation we're living in. And because they don't even know when they're going to drop their bigger tentpole movies. And the fact that they're not even talking about GVK right now. This thing with the rating that dropped, and I want to read a quote here from Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard, Godzilla vs. Kong is rated PG13 for intense sequences of creature violence / destruction and brief language. We could all assume that there's going to be one F-bomb dropped in GVK. There was one in King of the Monsters that I thought was perfectly placed. There was one in Skull Island that I absolutely love. Fucking ants. That's one of the best. Like, that's one of the best lines in the Monsterverse. So, that's that. He put that up. He posted that, right? And then Adam Wingard writes, that's an understatement with the little smiley winky face emoji. That's cool. I'm down for that. But you know what? The last Adam Wingard movie to drop, where they drop, Brother Chase?
When?
When? Where?
Where? It went straight to Netflix. I believe it was Death Note.
Death Note, exactly. Straight to Netflix. And if I'm not mistaken, he did The Blair Witch, which was pretty much in and out of theaters quick. So I'm not knocking Adam Wingard. I'm not knocking any of the people behind the scenes of these movies. I just think that right now, realistically, we don't have a time frame. And because of what's happening, everything is getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. It's going to be to the point where this movie we're going to see in 2022, 2023, just drop it. It's ready to rock and roll now. Just drop it. Take the L, because you were going to take the L anyway, and you probably would have taken a bigger cut, a bigger loss, if you start with the promotions, which, again, I think we both agree, them not really promoting this movie just yet is genius, because we saw the marketing campaign and how much that cost to King of the Monsters and how much that came back to bite them in the butt afterwards. Right. So I think we both agree that it's that they're playing it safe now. But there's going to come a time where they're going to be like, all right, how much further could we push this back if this thing keeps going? Okay, now, again, businesses are opening up. Again, I live in Vegas. The casinos are opening up. Once they start having travel coming back and forth from other states, that's going to be where we see how much this damn stupid corona bean virus thing spikes. You know? That's when we're going to see. And if it doesn't, then maybe that's a glimmer of hope. And then across the country, if things stop spiking and we start, evening out, that's a glimmer of hope. But we had this conversation not too long ago, like a month ago maybe, on a podcast, me and you. And we were talking about how do theaters prepare for coming back. And you being, working in the theater before, even you were like, dude, the way they would have to do it, social distancing wise, you're not going to have your theaters filled to capacity. Now, you take a movie like GVK, that's probably going to get a one theater run if it's stuck in the middle of Black Widow, James Bond, Mulan, Wonder Woman, because we don't know if they're going to push that back in or not. You know what I'm saying? But just gets caught up in the middle. That's probably going to be a one theater thing. And how are you going to make money if you have to socially distance? If you're only allowing 50% capacity into a theater, and you know it's not going to be on your premium screen.
The thing is movie theaters don't even make money off of the movies that are there. I mean, it's a small percentage. I mean, they make a little bit, but the most of it is concessions and stuff. So when you have only like 25 people out of a 50-seated room and only maybe 15 people buy concessions, you're not making very much money.
Do you think that might be what AMC is talking about? Knowing that what you just said, the money comes from concessions, and if you're only bringing in 50% capacity.
No. Well, see, I think in the case with AMC is AMC has a bigger contract with actual like film companies.
Oh,
they actually have like I know it's like all right, for like instance, they're talking about like if we have this movie. They give. So what happens is the movie companies give movie theaters like a cut of their films, like when they advertise their films and stuff like that, like 15% or something like that. They basically movie companies will pay AMC like to advertise their film, stuff like that. So that's where I'm a little confused on the we won't recover type thing, because I mean it's not just AMC, it's everybody. So it's like, with that being said, I don't know why AMC would be as hurt as everyone else, or why no one else would be just as hurt. So it's kind of like, I don't really know exactly what they mean. I didn't read the article.
Right.
But there was talks of Amazon going to buy AMC.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
But I don't know if that has happened. But the thing is, it's like there's no point in Amazon buying AMC right now anyways, because they're not going to be able to use the movie theater. So I don't know. I personally, and it's just maybe because I'm just not educated, I just don't understand why movie theaters just can't stop their whole production and just be at a standstill. I don't know how they're losing money when they're basically not alive right now.
I think that has to do with like the land, the rent, the property.
Oh, that's right. It's the rent and stuff like that. And I understand AMC is a company that their theaters are huge. Yeah. They're like mall theaters. And I can understand that could be a thing where it's charging them a lot of money for rent, which is understandable. But I don't know how really they can get around that. I mean, I know there's talks of another bill going around to help with businesses again and stimulus checks and all that. But who knows how that's going to work. But that's not even going to be until July being discussed. So, the only thing they could do is the renters would the landowners have to, let them, basically, understand no one can afford to pay rent. But the thing is, it's like, that's not the case. Yeah. Landowners are still like, we want money still, but it's like, it's kind of like in a situation where I feel like what's going to happen is some other party is going to come in, and they're going to have to play bailout. But
yeah,
I don't know how it's going to work.
Hollywood should come to the rescue. I mean, if
and that's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, if Hollywood relies on the theaters to put out their movies, which they do, then Hollywood should come to the rescue. These companies need to come together. They need to come together form, a basic union, like form a truce or something for the time being to save cinema. Because if they don't, and we start losing theaters left and right, and these theaters are turning into now museums, well, then the VOD market is exactly where you need to be. And that's my whole argument and my case towards releasing Godzilla vs. Kong on VOD and doing it as soon as possible. Stop, and that's the one thing that's driving me crazy. And I know, I sound like a broken record. I've been I've been praying for this since the whole Corona Beam thing started. I've been, the idea was there when Legendary were doing their watch parties in March or April, whenever they were doing it, and I was like, this is perfect. Because then they can get free publicity out of this. And this would spark interest in the movie. And they say, and it's coming in May. And they, I would have done it.
So I feel like at some point, Warner Brothers will have to assess what they have on paper. And we know what's going to happen. It's going to go out to HBO Max.
Exactly.
If they can't put it in theaters. But in all honesty, if you want the whole honest truth that I've been feeling since December, Godzilla vs. Kong was never going to come out in 2020.
I know.
I said this a few times, but
you said this since 2019. You've been saying this.
That too. I feel like them pushing it to November was just a we'll wait and see type of deal. And so what I feel like is because of King of the Monsters, they're going to, I feel like they're going to wait. They're going to give Godzilla some breathing room to try and find a way to market Godzilla and Kong, to market them to where they will kind of be in the public's eye again. After coming out a year right after King of the Monsters, I think with the how King of the Monsters did, that wasn't going to happen. So I feel like it wasn't going to come out in 2020 anyways, because normally if King of the Monsters was done and they decided to do Godzilla vs. Kong after, we would have waited maybe a year, 2 years after. However, that wasn't the case because they started working on Godzilla vs. Kong sometime during the end marketing of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So I feel like when it comes down to it, honestly, I feel like we're going to get that, and I could be completely wrong as always, but I feel like we're going to get the announcement GVK won't be coming out till 2021. And hopefully by then, movie theaters are up and running, and that's their plan because Warner Brothers wants to release it theatrically. That's what they want to do. It's going to be one of their biggest films, and that's their big plan. They've invested a lot in this. They don't want to just let go of it. So I feel like they're trying to find the safest place to put it and the safest way they're going to market it. And I feel like that's what they're waiting for. But unfortunately, with a pandemic, it's going to have to make you basically either you're all in or you're surrendering. Now, the problem is Warner Brothers can't shoot themselves. They're not going to shoot themselves in the foot and start marketing the film. And then November, it can't come out because then they've lost money. Like a lot of movies have at this point, but Warner Brothers is in the position where they can't lose any more.
Yeah.
So, it's the tough situation where I feel like honestly, as much as all this is going on with MPA ratings and trailer talk and stuff like that, and not only that, it's the merchandise talk. The merchandise is put on hold right now too, and all that. So it's not just the film. It's everything they have slated for Godzilla vs. Kong. I feel like they can't just take a loss in it. They're going to try and do whatever they can to get as much money as they can out of it. And I feel like they're going to wait and play it safe until they know for sure they can at least make some profit, whether or not it's the successful $100 million plus film or not. They want I guarantee they're going to wait and make sure at least they can recover something from it. But however, if it comes to the point to where the coronavirus is still in effect, they may have to be like, all right, we have this movie, we're going to have to surrender it. and it is what it is. But it's a tough tell. So that's why I feel like come July, we might have a better answer.
I'm just it's just my fanboy geek, inside going crazy. Like
Me too.
I'm normally a patient dude. I am so impatient, and I guess it's not because of the pandemic, but like you said, they started doing this movie, and I blame movies like Avengers. I blame movies like, hell, I'll even go back way further. Lord of the Rings, The Matrix 2 and 3. I blame movies like that, where they were filmed back to back. Lord of the Rings made sense. Nobody thought it was going to be the massive hit that it became. But it made sense because Peter Jackson was like, we got to do this like this. And it worked out for them. But then you look like movies like Harry Potter. I'm going to stick with The Matrix and definitely The Avengers, where they're filming these movies back to back and dropping them, back to back each year. Like, you had Infinity War come out in 2018 and then Endgame come out in 2019, a year apart.
Right.
And I feel like
even The Hobbit.
Yeah, even The Hobbit. You have companies trying to jump on that bandwagon and try to do the same thing, and it's not right. So when you hear, because I'll be honest, like you, when I heard GVK was coming out like a year, well, at the first time was supposed to be less than a year, between King of the Monsters and GVK, I was like, really? And trust me, I want to see this movie.
And it's because they expected King of the Monsters to be the biggest box office film they got.
Right, and this is before King of the Monsters had dropped yet. By the way, happy 1 year anniversary, King of the Monsters, last week.
Right. Happy birthday, King
happy
of the
birthday.
Monsters.
We see you. You don't hold up. But anyhow, no, that's not here. That was before that movie even came out, so we had no idea what we were going into. We're like, all we know is, oh shit, King of the Monsters is coming out next week, and then fucking GVK is coming out in less than a year. Holy shit, like, that's dope. Now you get your appetite like really wet. But then I start to think, I'm like, wait a minute, these movies, like you said, these movies should take about 2 years, to ferment. Come out.
Right.
Like, it drops. Here's Godzilla, King of the Monsters in 2019. In 2021, or hell, even 2022, GVK. If they would have said that, then we really would have had nothing to talk about right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we would have been patient. I would patiently waiting. But they didn't do that. They said March. They pushed it to May. Then they got pushed to November, which I was super excited for. Again, I love the November time slot. I absolutely do. And I think it would have made money in November if we weren't dealing with the situation we're dealing with. And movie theaters would have stayed open, and we would have seen movies like Black Widow already, and Mulan would have been out, and right now we'd have probably been seeing Wonder Woman. Yep, right now, I believe Wonder Woman was supposed to come out this week. I'm not too sure, but we would have been there. We would have been...
Black Widow would have been in theaters.
Yeah, Black Widow would have came out in May. We would have seen all this stuff already. And so GVK would have been perfect on the island by itself. Fucking James Bond would have came out this month. Everything that was supposed to come out would have came out. Fast and Furious, all of this crap, right? But that's not the case. So now everything gets pushed back. And I think right now, with GBK being in November, and November becoming tighter and tighter every freaking day, with movies getting chucked, it just seems like, especially if this situation's still going on, it's not going to make any money. And this is where I get like frustrated with myself, because again, I'm usually a patient guy. Now I'm impatient because, you should have just let it alone. Not done the Marvel thing. Not done the superhero thing. We're going to make this movie, and then we're going to make the next one come out a year later, because we're going to be producing this and filming this as this movie's coming out, and that's how we're going to do it, and that's how it's going to be done. And again, nobody saw this coming.
And that method only works for movies that make money like Marvel does.
And has the fandom. And that's the big important thing, because as much as we love this fandom, this genre, and we are a big fandom, it is nothing like what Marvel has going for it. Nothing like it. We are a fucking speck of sand on a beach when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Literally, it's ridiculous, and there's no way around it. That's the truth. Those are facts. And it's because not only because of the young people, older people loving these movies that don't necessarily go see Godzilla movies. You know what I mean?
It's everybody. It's young people. It's kids. It's parents. It's everybody. They're just.
And most importantly, it's Disney. So we got theme parks, we got toy brand, all that crazy shit. But
Mickey suffocated in his dollar bath the other night. Did you hear about that?
That's I don't even want to think about that. It's terrible. But yeah, so I mean, like, and that's the harsh reality. Like, I got impatient because I'm like, at first I was all against it coming out in less than a year. Then I was like, well, fuck it. You know what? If it's coming out, it's gonna be dope. And then King of the Monsters happened, and that was, what a lot of people wanted, but a disappointment to some, you know what I mean? Now you're like, well, we got GVK to save us, and I'm saying to myself, it's not even about the quality of the movie, it's about where it's fucking at. This is when it was still coming out in May, and you're looking at what else is coming out. You got a Fast and Furious movie. We're fucked again. Stop putting it here, and then they push it, and then I'm like, you know what? This is perfect, beautiful. I can be patient to hear, and then pandemic. And then movie theaters are shutting down, and movies are getting tossed around, and all of a sudden, it's not in a good spot anymore. And then, not only that, but then it's not even in the conversation anymore. And that is what irks the shit out of me. And that's why I say, when you don't see it in the conversation, and the only conversation that's being had about it is either here on this podcast, or other Godzilla-loving podcasts, or the random one question to a YouTube movie guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
But when the studios themselves are not talking about this, they're talking about, can Christopher Nolan's Tenet save cinema? No! And I'm not taking nothing away from that. It looks all right. But that's not my type of deal. I'm a geek. I want my geek shit.
It's not a Marvel movie.
Right, and it's not a Marvel movie. I want to see Wonder Woman 84. I really do. I can't wait to see
Here's the thing. I'm not that interested in Tenet myself. But here's the thing. The difference is Batman, The Dark Knight, that's a superhero film. And it was great. But Tenet is a completely different thing that, people are excited about it, but I don't think it's as enough people as the media is making it out to be. I don't see it making that much money in myself, honestly.
I agree. It's more of the Hollywood elites.
Yeah, it's like an Inception type film,
and that's it. It's because Inception was So this is the way I break it down: is Batman is Batman. You take a director and you put him on. Batman is Batman. Now, what Nolan did was make some good Batman movies, some really good Batman movies, right? So he gets a shit ton of praise heaped upon him because now he has found a completely new audience. He's found a completely new audience. So now they're like, from the director of the Dark Knight trilogy. And that's your hook. That's your hook right there, right? So now you got those people who enjoyed that, who've never seen a Christopher Nolan outside of the Batman movies. They go see Inception. They like Leonardo DiCaprio, whatever the case may be. And then, oh God. And then the media and the Hollywood machine puts the spin on it. And it gets people hook, line, and sinker. So now when you say, can this movie save cinemas? It's crazy because... Could you imagine if Disney waited 1 year apart? Like, if they would have said, here's Infinity War 2018, Endgame ain't coming to 2020. Could you imagine? And then this shit happens? Do you think they're talking about Tenet saving cinemas? Fuck no! They're talking about Endgame. Because the hype is there. Because the people are salivating from the ending of Infinity War, right? So you're like, whoa, and
how much money Endgame made?
Exactly. So that would have been a much better example of could something save cinemas. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the first Wonder Woman movie, and I'm really anticipating Wonder Woman 84. But even if that was in that position, which it's not, because Warner Brothers said no, we got to push it back. And they did. You know what I mean? But could you imagine if it was something like Avengers Endgame? People would be like, open up the theaters. Open the foot. Like, they would have went. And you know what?
Outcry on social media for sure.
And I'll tell you what, and I guarantee you this. The movie theater chains, all of them, they would have opened up. Like right now, we're opening up, right? It's perfect. It's the summer. Kids are coming out of school now. Well, they've been out of school, but you know what I mean. Like, it's officially becoming summer vacation.
It's March.
Right. But could you imagine, right? Movie theaters all across open up, and they literally do the 50% capacity. I have no doubt in my mind that Avengers Endgame would have made the same type of money. It would have taken a longer time to get there. But all the fucking movie theaters would have been playing that one movie in all of its theaters. They probably would have
had all of their rooms, all of their theater rooms playing the same movie.
Exactly, to get the most people in each time.
And it would have been a thing where it would have been like, all right, every hour our theater's playing this, every other hour our theater's playing this, or they would orient, they would oscillate, whatever. They'd flip back and forth doing it that way, probably.
Yeah, and that's what I see. I don't see that being the case for Tenet, which is a scary thought, because if that's not the case for Tenet, which is what they're trying to do.
However, if Tenet is the only film that's in the theater...
Yes, but here's the deal with that, and this is my argument between this and again, a superhero film.
But the one problem is they would be losing money, though, if that was the case, because, you know, not everybody's going to go out to see Tenet, unlike Endgame would have been.
Exactly.
Because they have to it costs theaters money to play them on the screens.
That's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly where I was going. Tenet is not going to have that rabid fan base because it is an original IP. You got your Christopher Nolan heads that want to see it. But honestly, how many times are people going to go into that theater to see that movie? There's no legit draw like an Avengers Endgame would have been.
Yeah.
But that is in another realm of reality. That is not the reality we live in. And that's what I worry about, because, again, when they're focused on a movie like Tenet, talking about could this save cinema, I don't believe so, and I don't think they do too.
There's absolutely nothing that can save cinema.
And that's why we need GVK on VOD tomorrow. Right now.
I want to at least wait to see that trailer first, because what if we see it and it's like embarrassing, and we're like, nah, we don't want to watch it.
Hey, you know what?
Godzilla Revenge.
You just gotta go and
Why is Billy Bobby Brown talking to Godzilla, and Godzilla gave her a thumbs up?
Oh man,
Adam Wingard.
I love it, dude. We just gotta go in blindfolded. We just jump in the deep end. That's how you learn to swim.
Get really drunk.
Yeah, well, some of us don't drink anymore, which is unfortunate. But anyhow, but I love. So yeah, we rambled about that. I cannot stress enough. I cannot wait for GVK. I really wish it would drop like right now, because we don't know what the future holds. And I don't want to see this thing get pushed back to push back to push back to push back. It's not even, because I feel
if it comes, if it actually is coming out that GVK is not going to be out this year, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers will let us know within the next month or two, at least by the end of July.
I would hope, like you said, by the end of this month, like, you have to start making.
You kind of have to by Comic-Con, because when people are sitting there expecting for it to be there and it's not there, I mean, they're going to be pissing a lot of people off.
Yeah, you have to make a comment on this now. And again, like I said, man, this article, like they did not they mentioned movies I'd never heard of. I said, what is that? It doesn't even sound like a cool movie. It sounds like The Boy Who Tied His Shoe. What the fuck? Like, where's
the... It's an indie film.
Yeah, and it's like, really? You're talking about The Boy Who Ties His Shoe over Godzilla vs. Kong? What in the world? That's what scares me. That's what scares me. And here's the deal, and this is what I talk about, being the tiny grain of sand on a beach when it comes to the fandom. They might look at this, okay? And this is why I say just drop it now. HBO Max is out. I will definitely get my thing right now today if they came out and say, yeah, it's coming next week on HBO Max. Here's the deal. GVK, as much as I don't want to say this, but I believe this, okay? I believe this can happen. GVK is the type of movie that could absolutely get lost in the shuffle and never see the light of day. And nobody but us G fans are going to feel that. Because the average casual movie-going audience member, the freaking rabid Avenger fanboys and Star Wars fanboys, which I'm a part of that group too, they're not going to care because they know their movies are coming still.
The only group of people that probably care is the Jurassic Park dudes.
And the Jurassic, so and that's and see,
but the thing is, all of the Jurassic Park dudes make up all of the Godzilla fans too.
Now you got a lot of Jurassic Park people that don't like Godzilla. But even that, you know that is a Jurassic Park. Again, this is a perfect example. Proven franchise, okay? Jurassic World did bank buku numbers. Fallen Kingdom did really well too. They're making Dominion, and Dominion is going to jumpstart the franchise all over again.
New trilogy.
So if you think about that, you know Universal is going to do it. Godzilla can totally fade out of existence because it's been done before, and that's what scares me really with the pushbacks. That's why I plead for it to come out now. Just drop it on VOD. Just get it out. Because
so you know, two things are for sure though. At least if it doesn't come out in theaters, it's going to HBO Max. So you're getting one way or another.
and even on HBO Max, which I would totally love, they lose a lot more money that way.
But that's if they don't have a choice. Well, they may not have a choice.
They could just VOD it, and that's my whole thing. Is like do the rental thing.
But VOD makes no money either. It probably would make more money on the streaming service than VOD.
I don't think that's the case because here's the deal with that. With the streaming service, you can get your 1 week subscription for free, right? Watch the movie and then cancel. You know, and then it all comes down to how many times did people watch this particular movie. You know, don't get me wrong. I would love to go right on the streaming service, but in order for them to make any money, they would have to drop a VOD straight. They would have to do that first. You know,
they would probably do both in that case. Then
I would say they would have to do VOD first to make money, and then say it's going to come out on HBO Max. And then here's what I would do. I wouldn't drop a DVD or Blu-ray for like 7-8 months to a year. Because if it does go on HBO Max, if people want to watch it, and if it's that good and people do want to watch it again and again, then let the people subscribe and keep their subscription service going. You know what I mean? But as of everything else, in order to make any type of money, they would have to drop it on VOD. Charge the $20 a rental fee. I mean, look, whether these things make money or not, they make money. You know what I mean? They're not making movie theater money, but they're making money, regardless. You know, they make money. And that's because people ain't had nothing else to do. But again, we'll see. Hopefully we'll see within this month is very important. Well, actually next month. This month is important in terms of the damn pandemic cases spiking or not. July will be important if the cases didn't spike, where movie theaters now feel comfortable to start showing movies again. And then we'll see, what Tenet does for the industry and whether or not
that's kind of my
GVK.
question I want to ask you before we get off here. Now, let's say everything does head out great and we get a trailer July and it's set out for a November. Do you still think there's that? Do you still think it should stay there, or do you think it should still be delayed though?
At this point, that's a great question. That's actually a really great question, and I wish I was prepared, but I'm going to freestyle this because here's what I really feel. Yes and no. That's crazy, right?
Yes, I understand it though. I get it,
right? So here's why yes, it should stay in November. Because if this thing is still going on, but not as crazy as when it first started in like end of February, in early March, right? Where they shut everything down. And if theaters are kind of open, right? Then that means I'm pretty much guaranteed a theater all to myself to see Godzilla versus Kong, right? Like that's why yes, right? Because think about it, and this pretty much this whole conversation today. Speck of Sand on a beach of fandom, right? People, if this pandemic is still fucking around, people might not go out to the movies regardless. And people will not probably go see GVK outside of the fandom. So when you break that down, right? Because it's not going to be like, oh, right, there's nothing going on, but Godzilla vs. Kong is out. Hey, you want to see a crazy monster movie? And like, this is a non-fan talking. Let's just go to the movies and watch Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah, let's do it. That might not be the case anymore. That was the case last year.
And that reiterates another good point. I guess that it depends on how Tenet does.
Yeah.
Because if Tenet gets a big audience, now of course it's Tenet, but the fact that people are going anyways to make an audience for it, that could be the total difference of whether Warner Brothers is like, all right, we'll put movies out or not.
And any film company, you know, I saw like Disney's really like they're right now on that fence, leaning closer to let's just drop Mulan on Disney Plus.
Talking about postponing Mulan, and then they put Artemis Fowl on
Disney Plus. Yeah, and now they're talking about they might do that with Mulan. But Disney doesn't have to worry about taking an L. They really don't.
Well, so the other thing too is Mulan right now is in a lot of political tyranny right now because of China. So that's actually the bigger reason why they're having issues with Mulan.
I got you on that. But thank God we ain't talking about Mulan on this podcast. We ain't a Disney podcast, even though we were talking about Avengers a lot.
Yeah, no.
But so yes, I would love Godzilla vs. Kong to still stay in November. The problem I have with that, and this is the double-bladed sword or lightsaber, is it won't make any money if it stays there and those other movies stay there. That was my fear with May. It's in a bad spot. So in that regard, yeah, it stays in November. I would go see it. I'm pretty sure that theater I go to is probably not going to be on a premium screen. I probably won't see it on XD, Cinemark XD, or IMAX. It probably won't be playing on those screens because you're probably still going to be playing Black Widow. So they can make money if it's a less capacity. And that's the crazy thing that gets me mad. It's probably going to be the last theater all the way at the end of the hallway where that one bathroom is. The scare, you know what I'm talking. Every theater has it. The last theater, it's about a 50-seater, and outside, right there in the corner, is a tiny, scary little bathroom. Looked like a broom closet, but it's a tiny. Everybody knows that's where they're going to show Godzilla vs. Kong in November.
And it's only one screen, and it's a Toshiba.
Yes, it's the screen. The screen is about, I don't know, the screen is about 20 feet. It's not even a big screen. It's the sound system's coming. They got cups that come down from the ceiling. You think it's a throwback, it's a cup. You gotta put your ear at the cup and listen for the sound. It's not Dolby Digital Surround. It's not THX. It's none of that shit. It's bad. But I will be there with probably 5 other people in this 50.
And that's when you get the coronavirus.
And that's where I catch it and die. Thanks, GVK. Thanks, Adam Wingard. No, thank you, Warner Brothers, for not putting it out on VOD. But no, I mean, so yes, I would totally be fine with it staying in November because at this rate, if shit don't really improve, it's not going to make money anyway. It'll be stuck between a rock and a hard place. And it still won't make any kind of money. And so, yeah, I'd go see it, but I would be disappointed because if it is a good movie, it will be unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I stand. Again, what I said at the very beginning of this epic rant that we just went on, this tangent, their greatest achievement right now is holding back on the marketing. They're saving so much money. On that. And that's commendable. So fingers crossed we get to see this at Comic-Con.
But they put out a trailer, and it's going to be King of the Monsters all over again. So,
well, not necessarily true because they can't go out to promote it.
It can't come out in November.
Well, yeah. But what they could do now, again, this is where King of the Monsters messed up. They did the Comic-Con trailer. Nothing until what? January, right? So for like
December.
6 months, December, and then the greatest trailer I've ever seen in my entire fucking life dropped. That second Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer was the best thing in the world. That trailer is better than the movie. I don't care what y'all say. I'm telling you what I feel in my bones. It's better than the movie. That trailer was so dope.
It should have been the only trailer we got, honestly.
And that was where it fucked up, because after that, then it went on a tangent.
Yeah,
then they went
man. That's one of the worst things that I have with memory with King of the Monsters is that it was like every week after that there was something. Once January hit, every week there was something Godzilla King of the Monsters related.
And that movie still had 4 or 5 months.
TV spots. It was just garbage.
Yeah, it was insane, and it was definitely an overload to the sensory system.
And I don't
Godzilla
understand. I don't understand why. I don't understand how's that logic?
Because they're trying to promote it to the people who don't like Godzilla. That's why.
And
they gotta bang them over the head with
losing money.
And they lost money, exactly, because it didn't work out.
Because look, if you don't like something, it's not gonna be easy to win someone over if you don't like it.
Absolutely. And that's why you look at where they were putting these spots at. Now, we weren't watching TV. We were catching them on YouTube. But yeah, sports was huge with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just like, it makes sense. It makes sense to put it with sports, because that's where the demographic of what you might think of the people who would like to go see, or who would probably like these types of movies, that's what they're watching. So boom, outside of the fandom. And
then I remember that one Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer, and they had that one hip hop song in it right before the film came out, and everyone was talking so much shit about it because the song just ruined it. And I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that either. And it had Serizawa. They paused the song, and Serizawa just goes, "I'm down," in it.
Oh,
and
man.
It just like everyone was just griping at that, and I'm like, I cringed too.
Yeah, you see, and that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is where you're really trying to get a certain demographic in, and it didn't work. So they're doing the right thing with Godzilla vs. Kong in terms of marketing. They have to let us know something soon, because people look, and that's what I'm afraid of. They might not even care. We might think they do. They might say they do, but that's just the puff piece. But they might not even care, and they might just be like, look, nobody else gives a shit about this. We could just file this shit under a fucking tax write-off. And that's unfortunate, because then we don't get to see it. But anyway, I digress. But listen, bro, I know we had a lot more to talk about. We can talk about that next week, because right now we are out of time, my brother.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe next week we see some.
Who knows? Maybe this rating does indicate a trailer dropping tomorrow. And if that is the case, ladies and gentlemen, best believe we'll be back on.
Well, we know we'll be back on tomorrow if that happens.
Yeah, we'll probably do that shit like right. That one would probably come out before this podcast if YouTube allows it. But anyhow, that'll do it for this episode of the Godzilla Block Party. I want to thank you, my brother Chase, for being on with me.
Oh, absolutely. No worries at all.
And I want to thank all of y'all out there for listening to us rant and rave about the movie industry for an hour. And believe me, if you stuck with us this long, you understood it all comes back around to Godzilla and what we're thinking, what we're worried about. But anyhow, that'll do it for this episode of Godzilla Block Party. I hope it gets uploaded unlike last one.
Hold on. There's one moment. Just scoping out the interwebs here. And it looks like the website IMBD, I got a notification talking about Godzilla vs. Kong being updated. They updated the plot summary. And, oh boy.
Wait. Time out. We're about to sign off. Are you telling me literally we caught this like right when we were about to sign off?
Yeah, I had a feeling, so I checked to see if anything got... I do this every podcast, though. I check just to make sure nothing's dropped, because we've had a few occurrences.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not signing off just yet. We have breaking news, like at the end of the podcast. Shit, yeah, all right.
Well, that way.
Well, all right. Well, Jesus, all right. Well, what's going on? What is?
All right. So, this is what it says. As the gigantic Kong meets the unstoppable Godzilla. The world watches to see which one of them will become king of the monsters. That's the first summary of it. And then they have like a two-part, and it says, in a new world where man and monster now coexist, Monarch must lead the way to a prosperous future alongside the Titans, keeping humanity in check. However, rival factions that want to manipulate the Titans for war begin to rise under the guise of a nefarious conspiracy, threatening to wipe out all of the life on the planet. Meanwhile, on Skull Island, strange seismic activity draws the attention of Godzilla and Kong alike.
Oh.
And that's where it ends.
No! What are you talking about? That's like a cliffhanger to a comic book. What are you talking about? You see, this entire podcast, I'm like, I'm impatient, and now you're making me even more. I should have said no. I should have said I don't even want to talk about it. Oh my God, are you kidding me? That sounds dope. Oh man, that makes me want to vomit. Okay, so oh man, listen, you know what time it is now, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we thought we were signing off, but this is probably going to be the best part of the podcast. So just hang out with us for a few more minutes.
Paid overtime, boys.
Yeah, some of us. Oh, yeah, right. Here we go. It's speculation time, people. My favorite thing when it comes to Godzilla, speculation. Now, this shit right here is chock full of some good stuff. First off, I gotta say that first little blurb with the gigantic Kong meeting the unstoppable Godzilla. Like, what is this? Okay.
It's totally Shawa.
Dude, it really does.
Totally Shawa.
It does. Oh my God. Okay.
The mighty Kong from Faroe Island.
Oh my God, I love it. Jesus. The idea, okay, so coexistence between human and kaiju, right? So when is this movie supposed to take place in terms of time-wise? Like, it's not dope.
Well, see, when they were talking about it, and I don't know if it's changed, it was supposed to be taking place right after King of the Monsters. But however, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, reading that, what you just read does not sound like the case.
Yeah, it sounds like this is a couple years after.
Okay, so that's dope.
Which it kind of has to be, because in the news clipping at the end of King of the Monsters, that's like in a span of like a timeline. That's not like just that. Godzilla couldn't have done all that in a day.
Yeah,
fighting monsters from cities and all of that.
Exactly. The idea of having mysterious rainforests popping up in certain areas. Now, the shit they said with in regards to Skull Island during that end credit sequence that's happening on Skull Island, like that's definite. Like that could have been going on forever. You know what I mean? They knew about Skull Island in the 70s, right? No, yeah, the 70s. No, when did Skull Island take place? Was it the early 70s?
It's like 73.
Okay, so yeah, so they knew about it from the 70s. In the comic book. What was it? The Birth of Kong or whatever the comic book was.
Birth of Kong.
His, that was in 96. So they've been on Skull Island. Monarch has established a base there. They've been there for decades. So like when you look at the ending of King of the Monsters and you see the end credits, and if you pay attention and you look at what they're saying about Skull Island in particular, them apparently building mechs. Just saying now, for those who don't care about spoilers, shit is out there. Shit is out there. But it was set up at King of the Monsters if you just looked and paid attention to the end credit newspapers. So when you see something like that, I could totally say, okay, whatever is going on there has been going on. So if that was the case, right after King of the Monsters makes sense. But you're right, 100%. Godzilla could not just snap his fingers and miracle grow the planet all of a sudden in a day. It's
Unless he got help from the cosmos.
Yeah, which ain't even in the damn thing, right? So that's intriguing. But what's really intriguing, I like the idea of this conspiracy thing. Like, what kind of conspiracy is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Oh my God, dude. This is the speculation that's going to go into spoiler territory that I don't want to do. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be spoilers. This is speculation. But speculation involving and regarding some spoilers that has come out. If you know about the toys, and we've covered it before. But if you don't want to be spoiled, adios, sayonara, everybody. Thank you for joining. If you don't care about spoilers and want to hear some speculation, let's go. In 3, 2, 1. Here's what I think. Conspiracy.
First off, what I want to say is if this ends up being legit, this synopsis update, if this ends up being legit, we're totally getting something, I feel like, soon.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. There's something coming real soon.
And that would mean the first part of this podcast was bogus.
Right, which would be great because, like we said, we would come right back on if the trailer dropped like today or tomorrow. Like, we'd be right back. And we'll be back. But I agree with you. I think now the trailer might be imminent. But here's my speculation. Again, spoilers if you're still here. With the conspiracy theory, okay? Dude, how fucking crazy would it be is if the conspiracy is in regard to Mechagodzilla, but it has a skin on it. If what they did was not create a new monster from Kevin, but instead use its regenerative abilities to create a skin and manipulate the DNA of Godzilla, kind of like Biollante, and created a Godzilla skin to fit over the form of Mechagodzilla, and then using that to start destroying shit. Okay? Start destroying shit, and maybe even coming from Skull Island itself. And that's the first thing Kong sees is Godzilla, but it's not Godzilla, it's Mechagodzilla, right? And there's a fight, and that's the fight. And then the next time Kong sees the legit Godzilla, because maybe Mechagodzilla kicks Kong's ass, right? And in essence, we get Godzilla kicking Kong's ass, even though it's Mechagodzilla. But we're supposed to suspend our disbelief, like nobody knows. In the movie, nobody knows, right? Because they're like, what the fuck? Why did Godzilla flip all of a sudden? Right? And then Godzilla comes because he's like, something's up over here. And Kong sees him and is like, fuck that, you ain't doing it to me twice. And starts kicking Godzilla's ass. And so it's like, whoa, wait, what's going on here, right? Dude, because what other way? We know Mechagodzilla's in this movie, right? What other way?
We also know about the other monster, too.
What other monster?
Nozuki.
Oh, God, Nozuki. I don't even want to... honestly, Nozuki, to me, I think that's going to be a throwaway monster that Kong just kicks its ass, like, right in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, hey, remember Kong? Check out how awesome he is, in case you forgot. This is Nozuki.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I've seen some, like, speculation and some rumors about Nozuki, but, those are just all what they are. But, I don't know. I personally don't feel like Mechagodzilla's the big bad. But I don't know. I'm not too sure, honestly.
Now, I'm not saying that Mechagodzilla will be the big bad, but I think it makes perfect sense because it's a robot that somebody gets control of it and uses it for its own nefarious reasons.
Right.
And that's where the conspiracy comes in because they have it coded as, and making it look like Godzilla.
I think whatever it is, it's going to have to be a big thing because strange seismic activity draws the attention of Godzilla and Kong alike. That's something big. So I don't see Mechagodzilla just stomping around, but I don't see something like Nozuki, a snake bat thing, doing that either. So...
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, exactly. No, I get you.
Activity.
Oh, well, yeah. Or I'll tell you what, maybe Skull Island, the seismic activity just means that it's a volcano and it's ready to erupt, Like, maybe, because...
You mean they're going to get rid of Monster Island like they did Jurassic Park?
Yes, but remember, there was something in the Godzilla King of the Monster credits, if I'm not mistaken, that said, like, Birth Island was supposedly the cradle of life. Like, am I bugging? Did I make that up?
Wait, what part?
If I'm not mistaken, like, the credits of Skull Island, well, hell, it could even have been in Skull Island itself, the movie. But I swear, for whatever reason, it could have been in a comic. For whatever reason, I feel like I've seen it somewhere where it said that Skull Island was, like, the cradle of life, like the birthplace of life on Earth. You know?
I'm not sure where I just don't remember. I do remember in the end of King of the Monsters, they're talking about they were getting some stuff from underneath Skull Island, or something like that. Like there was something with Skull Island going on.
Oh man, I don't know. All I'm saying is, yeah. Look, honestly, and again, this is all speculation on my part. I have no idea. But that's why I want to see this movie already. Like, come on, just drop it. Like, what are we waiting for? Just show it. But could you imagine, like, seriously, Michael Dougherty, he did pay tribute to Showa movies. He really did. He did. But could you imagine, like, if Adam Wingard does it even better? Like, honestly, could you imagine seeing Mechagodzilla in Godzilla's skin? Like, that's dope. Plus, you think about those toys. Like, there's some shit with those toys that is weird. That it looks like it might have had some kind of artificial skin on it. So that's why I'm like speculating like with this conspiracy, because here's the deal. If they do something with the fucking orca again, they got control of the monsters and here's a conspiracy. They're making Godzilla do rampages because of the orca. I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to hate the shit right off the bat. I said that for King of the Monsters. I said, I hope to God this thing ain't mind controlling monsters. Like, I know that's a Showa trope, and hell, even in Space Godzilla, they tried to use it, with using Mickey and that damn antenna thing on the back of Godzilla, and I hated it. That's why I don't like Space Godzilla a lot. Like, this like it worked in the '60s when that was a thing, but now it doesn't work. And if they're trying to do that again, no. But if they're using a robot that can be controlled remotely, which makes sense because it's a fucking robot, right? And they use the DNA from King Ghidorah, who can regenerate, and manipulate that. That to me it's a darker conspiracy theory, because right now humanity is supposedly living amongst the kaiju, alongside of them, and they're trying to be peaceful about it. But then you have that one rogue group. What could they possibly do? It's kind of like in Biollante. Hey, motherfuckers, you don't give us what we want, we're going to blow up the volcano and say Godzilla free. That's probably what's happening in Skull Island. That's probably what's happening. But that's, but in all honesty, in a movie like this, would you be satisfied for something like that? We've got bombs planted on Skull Island. That's the conspiracy. If you don't like it, we're going to blow you up. I wouldn't be satisfied with that. But if they gave us some crazy ass shit, or reasoning why they kept King Ghidorah's head. And hell, King Ghidorah could still be the big bad at the end of the day. They could have used King Ghidorah's, Kevin's head, to not only create an artificial skin for Mechagodzilla, but a whole slew of other things. Unnatural kaiju, which could possibly lead to, if you want, Destroyer, which I still don't believe and don't want.
It just makes me wonder though, because they say in King of the Monsters, Monarch was making mechs. So that's where I feel like Mechagodzilla, like...
But that's the thing. And that's why I think it's perfect, because it's a conspiracy. If Monarch is making the mechs, right? If Monarch is making the mech, what if Godzilla died and Godzilla, as of this moment, is the King of the Monsters, right? All of these monsters bow down to him, right? What if Godzilla was to die for whatever reason? Let's just say, in terms of the movie, not even in the movie, just in Monarch's head, right? Let's put ourselves in that universe. And we're a part of Team Monarch. And we're like, hey, what if Godzilla died? Well, no, that doesn't even make sense either, because it is the bad guys who have Kevin's head.
Right. And also, where you were going with that, remember in the beginning of King of the Monsters, all she had to do was press Godzilla's frequency and Mothra responded. There was no robot or anything. It was just this box. So it's like, it's not even like the appearance of Godzilla has to be there.
Oh wait, let me ask you a question. Do you even think that they're even going to bring the Orca back? I mean, it was destroyed.
I mean, that's speculation for sure. I personally don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
I honestly, I would hope. I again, this is just me, and this is the fanboy speculation coming out. Like, this is what I want to see. I would love if they could put together, and it's not really that hard. You can have an infiltrator in Monarch. You know what I'm saying? You can have somebody infiltrate Monarch and be like down with them 100%, but the whole time, kind of like, what's her name? Vera Farmiga's character. She was Monarch. Yeah, she was Monarch, but she had an ulterior motive. She used Monarch to fulfill her goals. You know what I mean? And what's to say there's not a sleeper agent, but maybe a sleep agent or somebody else, a rogue scientist within Monarch who's like, yeah, I play along all the way. I'll play along, and maybe he's getting fucking samples, or he's helping this dude's organization with Kevin, off the books. Like, Monarch doesn't know he's living a double life, and thus he can get skin samples and bring to the table. Yo, what if Godzilla died? Well, we can just use Mechagodzilla. If we can manipulate DNA from some of these kaiju, fuck, maybe they even use Godzilla's, because it looks like Godzilla could regenerate. It takes a long time, according to the movie, but he does. You know what I'm saying? And they'd be able to make an artificial skin to cover Mechagodzilla, and because this scientist is one of those prominent people within Monarch, he's now like, I got it. And boom, just takes Mechagodzilla out and on a rampage, and again, it's on Skull Island, and that's the first time Kong sees this particular Kong sees Godzilla. We did see the cave painting of Godzilla and Kong. We don't know if it's the same two or, just two of the same
and that's
species.
Interesting thinking about that, too. That means, like, the Godzilla species is familiar with the Kong species.
Right, and it's one of the things I absolutely hated about King of the Monsters. I think that was so unnecessary.
Yeah, it wasn't thought out very well.
Yeah, it was. In Skull Island, it made all the sense in the world, and you pop. You're like, oh, shit, it's happening! You did not need that at the end of King of the Monsters. Just showing Kong in the movie, which they did in stock footage, mentioning Skull Island, showing Skull Island in the newspaper clips and what they're doing. That was more than enough. You did not need to do that. To me, It was corny. It didn't even work. And it didn't even look as good, nowhere near as good as that first one with Godzilla and freaking King Ghidorah.
Yeah. You know what's funny thinking about the stock footage? It's like, how did Monarch get a hold of that stock footage?
Yeah, didn't that helicopter crash?
Who got the picture of Kong walking away from the destroyed helicopters?
Randa had the camera, remember? He had the
but that was from the angle of Tom Hiddleston's helicopter crash. He was on the opposite side of the island.
That's true. This is true.
So, it's just silly thinking about it.
See, but that's
modern. I don't know. All I will say is that I remember when they were doing the filming for Godzilla vs. Kong, just seeing some of the pictures, that synopsis that they put kind of adds a little light to it. Me thinking about, like, because there was pictures of them crashed on Skull Island, and I'm like, Monarch's attention goes to Skull Island, or they end up crashing on Skull Island somehow. So, and it's Monarch agents, Monarch soldiers, part of G Team.
Yeah.
So I wonder how, that's all going to tie in, but it's interesting.
Well, I'm absolutely over the moon.
I still think the big bad is Destroyer, but
I hope not. I honestly, you know what? And honestly, because Nozuki does not sound cool for one. That's just a terrible fucking name. So I can't imagine that being a big bad. I honestly believe that's just cannon fodder for Kong to show how strong Kong really is. If anything, I think Kong is going to rip its jaw and do the classic Kong jaw rip thing that it wasn't able to do in Skull Island.
Be cannon fodder just for Godzilla, for Kong.
Just for Kong.
But you know what? That's actually interesting to bring it up, because that means, all of those toys we saw by Playmates, I doubt those were all of the figures they were making.
Yeah, and that's a podcast for another time, definitely.
Yeah, that's a podcast for another time. But
just for
but
this,
what I'm saying is like there could be another monster or something else out there we haven't seen yet.
and that's what I'm hoping for. If not, if they're gonna use King Ghidorah's head, then I don't want King Ghidorah to mutate into Destroyer. To me, that's way too.
Oh, I don't think the head will mutate and Destroyer. I think Destroyer would come from the events of Mexico when they dropped the oxygen destroyer.
Oh, okay, but see, then I get that, and I can buy that, but I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want Destroyer. Period. I want a brand new original, like a Muto. I want a brand new monster. They did really good. Look, I really love the Mutos. I really like the Skullcrawlers. I've liked all of the monsters, to be honest with you. All of the original legendary monsters, I've loved them all. So I would like to see now one big bad, not coming from the big bad we already got was King Ghidorah. Give me one big bad that does not come from Toho. You know, give me something. And if you want to go crazy and you need it to be from Toho, then ask Toho to let you create Baggin. That would be it. But I still believe that King Ghidorah's head has to play a role. You know? Yeah. Like they would not give you that end scene if it doesn't play a role at all in Godzilla vs. Kong. And
who knows, they could totally use it where the sense where just the DNA from King Ghidorah is used to make like artificial flesh. But I personally don't like the artificial flesh idea, but right. I don't know how I feel about Mechagodzilla being in the movie anyways.
And no, that right there, 100% agree with, because honestly, I don't want Mechagodzilla in this movie. I don't think it's called for. But because we know it's there, then if there's some kind of, and this is just the way my brain works, if there's going to be a conspiracy like this Synopsis is touting, right? And this isn't the first time we heard conspiracy pop up. This has been around for a while. But now this is like kind of solid proof. Where it comes from, we got to know. We can, once this is sourced and we can be like, oh shit, this is like legit, then I'm like, oh, I'm going even crazier. But like for right now, and again, like conspiracy, we know Mechagodzilla's in this. We know King Ghidorah has regenerative abilities. We know Monarch is chock full of scientists. It's not far-fetched to think, especially if they want to pay more homage to old school Godzilla, you give Mechagodzilla a coat of flesh. We haven't seen it since 1973. You know?
Yeah.
So I would love to see that.
I did hear that Mechagodzilla in the film is supposed to resemble like Shawa Mechagodzilla.
So and that's my thing. So I'm like, we haven't seen it. Could you imagine if you gave us that? Hell, could you imagine if it was Godzilla and if Mechagodzilla came? Look, all I'm saying is the possibilities are endless. And that's what I'm saying. You could do artificial skin with the DNA, and then you can do a menagerie of other things. You can make so many other creatures until you get that one monster that's going to stick in terms of the movie, like for the story's sake. And then they find that one monster that, there's your destroy. Oh God, I just said its name. There's your destroyer.
See? Now you see.
I don't want it though. That's the whole thing. Like, and that's what really gets me irked. Now they can say there's your destroyer, and then say it's like legitimate legendary name, and that's like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the fans. And I'd be like, fine, I don't care. But I don't want. Listen, I really don't want an updated version of Destroyer. I don't want to see that monster again. I love Destroyer as is. I think that's the perfect, like it's a devil beast. I love it.
I just feel like the big villain of the movie, whatever or whenever it's released or whatever it is, it's gonna have to be huge. And Mechagodzilla and Nezuki, I don't think cut it. Unless Nezuki is like almost the size of King Ghidorah, maybe.
I'll tell you right now, I honestly don't believe Nezuki is anything other than, again, cannon fodder for Kong. I don't think Warner Brothers Legendary Playmates, anybody, is going to shoot their load that early. And because they know these things leak. You know what I mean? They know these things leak. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a legitimate script leak yet, and that's a testament to what they're doing and how they're holding it back. So, again,
well, there was a script leak back in October.
Oh, was it official?
There was a script leak back in October, but it was deemed as like a rough cut.
Okay. I don't think that Nozuki is it. I don't think Mechagodzilla is it either, actually, at all. To me, again, like with the conspiracy,
I think Mechagodzilla is going to be something like the Argo.
Exactly, I could see that that's what it was supposed to be. But again, like you could have an evil scientist that infiltrated Monarch under their noses saying, "What if Godzilla died and we can use this mech and coat it with this artificial skin that I've created to make the kaiju think, the Titans think that Godzilla's still alive, and then we can control him. We can control him with that." And then he's like, "Ha ha ha! We can control him for evil." And I just said I didn't want mind control, right? And I don't want to rehash King of the Monsters, but Mechagodzilla going on a rampage, looking like Godzilla, and Kong fighting that and losing, and then seeing the real Godzilla and fighting him, and then kind of kicking his ass. I mean, it gives me, and then at the end, of course, Godzilla's gonna have to tail swipe Kong and break his fucking neck, and then step on him and burn his face off.
Fails him into a building.
Just all that crazy thing, man. Yeah, just destroy it. But I want the monster, whatever the big bad is, I want it to be something brand new and original. I don't want a rehash of a classic
That's how I feel too.
I really don't want a rehash of a classic Toho monster. I want to see Legendary and Warner Brothers flex their creativity. The way, and look, the Mutos are very, very fucking basic, right? They're really basic when you think about it. They look like aliens, first off. They don't even look like they belong on the Earth. You know? Are they insects? What are they? Their eyes glow and light up weird. They make really weird alien sounds. That doesn't look like anything that could have came from this Earth, right? When you look at all the other monsters, there's Spider Guy, Leg, Cilia, you know who I'm talking about. Just like
Scylla.
All of the other creatures kind of look like they can come from Earth. They look like animals. It seems that way. The Mutos they look like insects, but they look like alien insects. So they're basic. I want to see them flex creative muscles. I mean, fuck, the Skull Crawlers were, they were taken straight from 1933's King Kong. Like, legit! They're in the fucking spider pit. They're in the spider pit, bro. They're in there. You just look at it. The thing is climbing up the wall trying to get Denim. It's in the movie. Like, it's there. So, but I still loved, a revamped looking Skullcrawler. You took something that plays no part in the movie whatsoever, and you turn it into the big bad for Skull Island. I like that. But I don't want to see something like Destroyer be the big bad in this movie, because I already seen Destroyer be a big bad and Godzilla. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see it. Give me something brand new.
They're gonna title Godzilla vs. Kong Rodan's Revenge.
Dude, and if you give me the official Rodan cackle, I am so down for it. So down for it. Dude, oh my God, you know what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. This movie, at the end of this movie, is going to turn, and I think I said this before, this movie is going to turn into the crossover with Pacific Rim. Because at the end of this movie, everything's a mech. Everything's mech. We're gonna Mechanicon, Mechagodzilla, Mecha.
They even have a cameo with the Jaegers. I would dig that.
Dude, Mothra's gonna hatch and she's gonna have mecha wings. It's gonna be a Mecha Mothra, which is gonna be insane because how'd that happen? And it's
another thing too about the synopsis that is like interesting to me is they're talking about like factions of people, like.
Well, you know what I think about
multiple.
that? You know what I think about that? I think about that in terms of religion. I think certain people are going to look at this particular kaiju as their god, or that particular kaiju as their god. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Think about it, because what if
that would be nuts.
What if I don't know, Behemoth. Let's take Behemoth because he was like my favorite in my favorite new design from King of the Monsters, right? Let's say Behemoth decides to just take a squat in Arizona and say, this is my territory now. I'm staying here. I'm going to stay here in Arizona. I'm not moving. And then the people of Arizona, because like it's weird now, but we live in alongside of it, they look at this thing now as their protector. So that's how I take factions actually. That's
kind of cool thinking about that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's the case. I can't wait myself to see what they do with that, but in terms of like
they want to manipulate the Titans for war.
That's what scares me with the damn Argo / Mechagodzilla thing. I don't want to hear. I don't want to see mind control. I don't want allure. I don't want none of that. If you're gonna do it, just have monsters fight. Let me tell you something. Again, we've said this a million times. This is Godzilla vs. Kong / Destroy All Monsters. I would love nothing more than to have Godzilla and Kong back to fucking back. And instead of there being a big bad, having to kill all the monsters. Oh, come on, man. But then that probably would have been a rated R, not a PG-13. So, yeah, we're not getting that. But, yeah.
And then it makes me wonder, too, shit, I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Chase blanked. The excitement has gotten to Chase.
Yeah, I blinked. I was on a thought, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute, I totally forgot.
You know what? I think I'm going to keep this here, but you know what I think I might do, too? I might actually make this into its separate podcast and just put both of them up this weekend. Why not? But, if it goes up, please, YouTube. Oh, Lord. But yeah, man, I'm totally... This synopsis, man, I can... The last minute, literally, we were signing up. I was like, we were done. We were freaking done.
And that's why I said, like, we should... we need to stop signing off so early.
Nah, listen, man. And I think I was good because some people's attention span, I could sit around for 2 hours. Look, and again, it's usually just a static photo and us talking, which is a good thing because then you can do what I usually do when I'm listening to certain podcasts or watching certain programs that don't really need your attention, is just talking heads. I play my game. I sit there on my tablet and I be like playing Jules. I don't care. But I'm listening to everything going on. So yeah, I'm taking it in while also playing my game and getting my brain going. But yeah, so that's why. Yeah, I guess we could stretch it. But no, 1 hour is fine. 1 hour is perfect, sweet spot. But this is news, man. This is news. This is big news, especially if this is real. Could you imagine tomorrow you come to find out that this was just some fanboy who put it up on IMDb?
I hope not.
And then we're going to have to come back on and be like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, look.
Which is why we should just say now, if this is legit, cool. If not, then we just speculated and bullshitted.
Right, but the speculation
is still fun.
Still fun, because, I do love speculation. So let's see. Going back, we got... who we got? The gigantic Kong versus the unstoppable Godzilla. I can't believe that. Conspiracy theories. Mankind and Titankind, kaijus, living together in peace, or so we think. We've got Nozuki, who's probably going to get killed the very first time we see him, versus Kong. It's going to happen like that. We've got a mystery on Skull Island. I wonder what could it be. I can't wait to see it. I believe it's Mechagodzilla being used by rogue terrorist, quote-unquote, agents. I would love to see. Again, I love my favorite Mechagodzilla movie is 1993's Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. That was my favorite Mechagodzilla movie. And it narrowly edges out Terror of Mechagodzilla, which is the very first Mechagodzilla movie I saw. And the very first Godzilla movie I saw on VHS. I gotta throw that out there. But all of the Mechagodzilla movies had Mechagodzilla going on a rampage except for 93. And I can't say that I like that idea, because I do kind of like, look, you know your hero's Godzilla, whether he's not a hero in the movie or what. But having Mechagodzilla go on a rampage is one of my favorite things about mechs because it's, you can't control AI.
That was one of the coolest things about Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
Exactly, dude. That's my favorite part of both those movies. To be honest with you, that's my favorite part of both those movies. Is that sequence when Mechagodzilla hears that roar and the DNA in its system kicks in, dude. I goosebumps with that. That was such a great idea, and that rampage is my second favorite rampage, only because the rampage and terror of Mechagodzilla. There's something about the destruction in that sequence that it's one of my favorite Godzilla's moments, movie moments of all. Like when we do those, what is your favorite Godzilla moments? Top 5. That's in my top 5.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, dude, I'm like kind of stoked. Yeah. Now again, I'm putting it in my head, and I'm probably gonna be disappointed later. But dude, yeah, I want to see Mechagodzilla go on a rampage. I would love to see that. But under the disguise of Godzilla, why is Godzilla attacking the city? This makes no sense. I would love it. And that's the conspiracy theory right there. If I was writing the movie. And
yeah, that's gonna be interesting too. It's like, because like after the events of King of the Monsters, how does humanity view Godzilla now? Has Serizawa finally gotten to the point where he's getting through to all of the government officials and everything, and humanity? Like, we need to coexist with Titans, or is that still a thing where people like view the monsters? I mean, of course, there's still going to be people that are going to be like, run when they see Godzilla, but it's like, but is it a thing where it's like, just we got to try and kill him, or is it what's really going on? And I'm interested to find out.
It's funny you say that too. That's a great question and a great plot point, because I would say they would have to, because they saw when they went and they went to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, 3 even, because they were like, oh, we can kill Rodan too, I guess. But they were going after Mechagodzilla. Oh boy, King Ghidorah and Godzilla. They were like, we have to get rid of him. And I'm pretty sure they figured, we could probably deal with Rodan later down the line. But these are the threats. These are the imminent threats.
Well, Rodan got out of there quick.
He did. He said, I'm out of here. But when they realized, oh shit, King Ghidorah, it didn't work on him, but Godzilla is gone, like disappeared. They didn't know. They thought they got him. And then King Ghidorah and Rodan started destroying everything. And then King Ghidorah's call woke the other Titans up, and they started destroying everything. And it wasn't until Godzilla got up and called, like when Godzilla came back and called, and I guess they homed in on him.
It's gonna be twice now. Godzilla has gotten no respect. He's come to help save humanity, and all they want to do is kill him.
Mind you, after he saved San Francisco, say which way, he did destroy half the city, but after he saves them from the Muto threat, he disappears for 5 years, like he was gone. He didn't come back until they released King Ghidorah.
It's okay when it's giant monsters, but when it's Superman, it's wrong.
Right, yeah, you see? Well, because people would think that Superman is smarter than that. But we got to also understand, at that point in time, Superman was not the fighter that was skilled like Zod was. And as soon as Zod got his powers, all bets were off. Zod was like, I'm turning this place into New Krypton. And Superman was like, you can't do that. And Zod was like, watch me. I'm going to choke you. I'm going to fly you this way. You're going to try to stop me. I'm going to reverse it because I know Kryptonian Kung Fu. But with the monsters, there's no reason. Like, Godzilla, hey, could you just go down that block instead of this? My favorite bodega's on the corner here. This shit ain't gonna.
Can you walk 20 meters that way here in front of my favorite restaurant?
Godzilla's gonna go where Godzilla wants to go. You know what I'm saying? But you're absolutely right. This is the second time he saved humanity. They would have to realize at this point in time, and you got to remember too. Not everybody, the world don't know about, well, they do now because at the end of King of the Monsters, it's in the newspapers.
Pretty much King Ghidorah was going to destroy the world and make it its planet.
Exactly, and Godzilla stopped it, And now at the end of that movie, it seemed that Godzilla had control of all the monsters. They all bowed down to him and showed him the respect, and it seemed the same way in those newspaper clippings. It was kind of like, well, this monster went away and went over here, and he hasn't been causing any issues, and this monster hasn't caused any issues, and Rodan went to nest somewhere, and all that fun stuff. I'll tell you what's going to really happen. Here's the conspiracy. The conspiracy is going to be within Monarch. And it's not going to be any evil scientists.
Does Monarch control the monsters?
No, even worse. Mothra is going to hatch, and it's going to be Batra. But not Batra, they're going to call it Evil Mothra. But because they love Mothra so much, they're going to have to make excuses. This is the conspiracy theory. They're going to have to make it, no, that wasn't Mothra. That was Rodan. That was Rodan that flew through the town and destroyed it real quick. No, those pictures, fake news, didn't happen. Somebody used Photoshop. That wasn't Mothra. That's the real conspiracy. That's total bullshit.
And then it turns into like a kaiju detective movie.
Like
an agency has to find the criminal kaiju.
Like Detective Pikachu, they're gonna have fucking. Oh my god, no!
They're gonna put Kong in chains and put a prison striped suit on him. It was you damn dirty ape.
Could you imagine Legendary actually doing that? Like going and think about it. Every single King Kong movie, with the exception of King Kong Lives, has done that. King Kong Lives and Skull Island did not do that. Well, he was kind of in chains if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
The anchors, but even then, that wasn't being in. Oh, that's funny if you think about it. That is what do we call metaphorically. That was metaphorically Kong being chained by humanity because it was humanity's inventions that had Kong chained. Wow.
It was a boat.
Look at where we just took
Look how
this.
deep Skull Island is.
Oh my God! Look at for real, yo. You know what? Michael Jordan. What was his name? Jordan Voight Roberts.
Jordan Voight Roberts.
Dude, you get props for that one. I bet you didn't even think about that, but if you did, you get super props for that. Because that's...
I think he actually talks about that scene in the behind the scenes on Skull Island.
Does he even mention that? Does he say, you know...
I believe he does, actually. He mentions that scene.
Good Lord. I don't watch special features, only watch deleted scenes, so... And we don't get any of that.
I was gonna say something before you brought up that, but...
yeah.
The one thing I just realized, talking about that, like, with the humanity thing, you know the one thing I would love for them to do just in the beginning of Godzilla vs. Kong, just to kind of set part of the mood, is I really would love it for, as a kaiju fan, for eye candy, I would love for them to show the beginning of Godzilla vs. Kong of people praising Godzilla as he's walking through the cities and they see him in the oceans and stuff. Like, they open up the movie with Godzilla, like a kid on a beach, and all of a sudden Godzilla pops out of the water and he's just filming it with his phone. And then there's like cuts to people in the city and then there's Godzilla going through. Or just other kaiju. I would love for them to take place like partly right after King of the Monsters. Like during when those news clippings were going on, I would love for them to actually like have film of that in the beginning of Godzilla vs. Kong. I just would think that would be so cool.
I love that idea, man. I am so with you on that.
Like a little kid on a skyscraper, or like in New York, and Godzilla's walking through by the Empire State Building, and the little girl or whatever's pointing at Godzilla to the dad and everything. Like, yeah. I think that would be cool.
I don't think that would be cool because that little girl should not be on the Empire State Building while Godzilla is trampling through New York. As somebody who lived there, I can tell you, those streets are not wide enough.
That's true.
Those streets are
you get those people that do the extreme parkour and they climb up those like towers and Godzilla's jumping through and then they're just gone.
Yeah. Now, going through the ocean. And that's one of the things, too, that I love. It's, Godzilla doesn't do that shit. Like, he doesn't go to land unless there's a reason to, Think about it, like, well, with the exception of San Francisco, he was fighting the Mutos, though. They were all over the place. But when Godzilla comes to Boston, he kind of comes out right there in the water. He comes out from the water. I've been to Boston twice. There's the water's right there. He just pops out, goes right in, and boom. It's unfortunate. Boston's it's not a big city. You know what I'm saying? It's not like New York. New York is giant. So Godzilla cutting a swath through Boston. And then Rodan and Mothra flying around beating each other up. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like Boston gets wrecked in that movie. You know what I'm saying?
It gets nuked.
It gets nuked. It sure the fuck does. But yeah, man, like I love that idea. Just like seeing these monsters, or even like on the open field, like the open plains. You're in like Nebraska,
like in nature.
Montana. Yeah, in nature, and having that, like, somebody's hiking and seeing.
And it doesn't have to just be Godzilla. It could be like Behemoth or Methuselah.
Dude, all of it. I love that idea. Even though I think it's it's Scylla. I think that's the one that's going to be in the Godzilla tie-in comic. I think Godzilla and Scylla's fighting each other in that. Or maybe not. Maybe Scylla's realizing, okay, you are the king of the monsters. But, yeah, dude, that's a dope idea. I would absolutely love seeing that. Again, that's one of my favorite things about the Heisei movies is those matte shots of Godzilla just walking by. And again, because it's the 90s and just special effects are better, quote unquote. But like Godzilla just like walking in the background, and then it's like you see the people in the foreground like watching him. I love those shots.
Like that shot in Space Godzilla when he pops up when he goes to the city for the first time, and he pops out of the ocean and his tail flies out of the water and everything, and it's just that long shot of him.
Yup, that shot, one of my all-time favorite Godzilla shots. Godzilla 93 when he comes
and like in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, the part where he's
walking with the cows,
the moo intensified.
Dude, let me tell you something. I swear on everything. The first time I saw that was it. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And that I haven't seen the other movies. I saw the ending of Mechagodzilla 93 about 2 or 3 years prior, right? I used to go to a video store. My cousin worked at a video store, and I said this story before. His boss knew I was a diehard Godzilla fan because we used to go in there when I was a kid and rent Godzilla movies all the time. And he was like, let me show you something. Check this out. And he just put it on, and it was the end. And I was like, what is this? What is that? Like, I fucking went crazy. I had no idea what I was watching other than there's a brand new Mechagodzilla. Godzilla looks fantastic, and look at Rodan. What the fuck am I watching? It was dope. It was dope. But yeah, dude, those things right there, man. Those are I love to see shots like that. So 100% I'm with you. Moves intensified. Give it to me, bro.
Yeah.
But all right, listen, bro. We done hit it. We done hit it all.
We're about hitting 2 hours.
Yes, we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you if you've made it this far. If you didn't care about spoilers and speculations, if you made it this far, thank y'all for sticking it out and hanging with us. We do appreciate it very much so. And now I'm going to do it again. Brother Chase, thank you for being with us.
Oh, absolutely. It was great.
And thank you for the last minute catch, if you will. It's like, we had a bum day on the fishing boat, and as we're going by, Chase says, "Oh, what the hell?" Throws his line out, and boom, reels in the big one.
We caught a sturgeon.
Wait, throw that shit back. I don't think those are good to eat, and they're scary as hell. I don't want that shit on the boat. But yes, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen, for real this time. This has been the Godzilla Block Party. I am G1, and we are really out of here right now. Peace.